If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that, and we're sitting down. You know, I was we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that, because look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in our country. Because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as childcare is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. It's about make America great again. We have to do it because right now we're a failing nation. So we'll take care of it. Thank you.
I try not to curse too often when I do these videos, but what the fuck did I just watch? I mean, I know that alone those were words, but together that was not anything close to resembling a coherent thought. Like, I'm sorry, but if you actually try and decipher some message out of that mess, this dude told the Economic Club of New York, people who ostensibly know something about the economy, that he's gonna eliminate the deficit and then pay for childcare with tariffs? Tariffs? Here's what tariffs do. They mean that foreign-made goods become more expensive for Americans. We foot the bill, just like we did when Trump waged a trade war in his first term in office. When the New York Economic Club and CNBC and the Wall Street Journal line up behind this guy, they are showing you their ass. They are broadcasting that they are not serious organizations with any adherence to serious beliefs. You cannot listen to Donald Trump spew his confused blather and then turn around and defend it and expect to be taken seriously. Now, in terms that the internet might better understand, I hear Donald Trump speak, and this is what comes to mind.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
The difference being that eventually, at least the kid got to the point. All the while, rumor has it that Donald Trump is still on that stage vomiting up a smattering of words about childcare, Viktor Orban, Ivanka Trump, and Hannibal Lecter for good measure. And let's be clear, the rest of Donald Trump's ticket isn't faring much better. Here's what J.D. Vance said when posed with the exact same question.
It's very hard for working families to get by. How will we lower the cost of daycare?
You know, such an important question, Charlie. And I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that you know, maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more. Or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare. Now, you talk about just daycare. Let's say you don't have somebody who can provide that extra set of hands. We've got a lot of people who love kids, who would love to take care of kids, but they can't, either because they don't have access to the education that they need, or maybe more importantly because the state government says you're not allowed to take care of children unless you have some ridiculous certification that has nothing to do with taking care of kids. So empower people to get the skills they need. Don't force every early child care specialist to go and get a 6-year college degree.
So J.D. Vance's plan to make childcare affordable is to employ family members for free? Let me ask you a question. You think parents didn't already think of that? You think families don't already ask family members for help watching the kids? Perhaps we need a solution that's just a tad more sustainable than tapping into free labor from grandma and grandpa. Maybe there's people out there whose parents still work and don't have time to take up a second job that is watching their grandkids. Maybe there's people out there who don't have parents to watch the kids. The point is that J.D. Vance is not a serious candidate offering anything resembling a serious solution. Need more proof? Here's the thoughtful response that Vance has to the issue of childcare. Universal daycare is class war against normal people. What? That's class war against normal people? Offering a way to occupy children so that normal people can go to work to afford their family? What's next? That the ACA is class war against people seeking health care? That the government negotiating lower drug prices is class war against people who want cheaper medicine? Republicans' entire MO is to convince you not to believe your own eyes and your own ears. So look, whether it's Donald Trump, who clearly has zero clue about how the economy works, zero clue what tariffs are, zero clue how the deficit works, zero clue how to manage an economy, or J.D. Vance, who is so bought and paid for by his billionaire handlers like Peter Thiel and has zero interest in actually helping normal Americans, neither one of these guys is to be taken seriously. Neither one of these guys is going to help you. Neither one is interested in how the middle class works or the working class works or how their children will get care while their parents have to go to work. They both serve the billionaire class, the people who donate to their campaigns. Donald Trump's budgets cut earned benefits, which ensure that families can care for children and grandchildren. Of the 15 states with the highest child poverty rates, 12 voted for Donald Trump. And of the 15 states with the lowest child poverty rates, 11 voted for Biden. This is not any better for maternal mortality rates. Of the 15 states with the highest maternal mortality rate, 12 voted for Trump, and of the 15 states with the lowest maternal mortality rate, 13 voted for Biden. These people fall over themselves grandstanding about protecting families and kids, and yet they vote against childcare. They vote against early education. They vote against universal pre-K. They vote against the child tax credit. They vote against SNAP, where half the recipients are children. They vote against Medicaid, where again, half the recipients are children. Any way you cut this, it becomes clear that when Republicans parade themselves around like these great defenders of families, the actual facts don't back that up at all. So the next time you hear an answer like this fall out of Trump or Vance's mouth, just accept the fact that the reason it sounds so much like bullshit is probably because it is. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on this screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on this screen. Thanks so much for watching.